Did you hear that Moana is the latest Disney movie to get the live-action adaptation treatment? We all know that despite Disney's unquenchable thirst to revamp its animated classics, these live-action remakes aren't always crowd-pleasers.
Oh no!
From Pinocchio's measly 29% Rotten Tomatoes score to one movie that really stood out from the crowd and broke 90%, we've got the live-action Disney adaptations ranked from painfully bad to better than the original. Number 1. When the live-action Pinocchio hit screens, it didn't take long for this remake of a classic to garner many thumbs down. Most folks are wary of live-action remakes of beloved animated films that we learn about, yet Pinocchio had potential thanks to its all-star cast, including Tom Hanks as Geppetto, Cynthia Erivo as the fairy, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Jiminy Cricket, who were joined by other big names like Keegan-Michael Key, Luke Evans, and Lorraine Bracco. Yet in spite of its cast, Pinocchio was panned. In fact, previously Can Do No Wrong two-time Oscar winner Tom Hanks was actually nominated for the Golden Raspberry, aka Razzie Award for Worst Actor. It also snagged nominations for Worst Picture, Worst Screenplay, Worst Director, and Worst Supporting Actress for The Sopranos alum Lorraine Bracco, and took home the title of Worst Remake, Ripoff, or Sequel. This adaptation put the no in Pinocchio, making it all the more interesting that it was released in 2022, along with Guillermo del Toro's stop-motion animation of the same story, which garnered a whopping 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Perhaps we need fewer live-action adaptations and more stop-motion adaptations. Either way, the live-action Pinocchio is tied for Worst Live-Action Remake with a 29% Rotten Tomatoes score. Number 2. Also with a 29% score is Alice Through the Looking Glass. While this 2016 film wasn't exactly a live-action adaptation of a Disney animated film, it was a sequel to the live-action remake of Alice in Wonderland, and this sequel ranks much lower on the list than its source material. Despite reuniting the star-studded cast from the first film, including Mia Wasikowska, Helena Bonham Carter, Anne Hathaway, Sacha Baron Cohen, and Johnny Depp, the sequel lost Tim Burton as its director to James Bobbin. Many critics felt that the shift in director caused the movie to miss out on its potential. Speaking of missing out, if you don't want to miss out on videos about your animated favorites, like and subscribe to The Things Animated. Number 3. As for another sequel that totally bombed, we have 102 Dalmatians. Many believe that this 2000 sequel to the live-action 101 Dalmatians was slow, boring, and unnecessary, which earned it a 31% Rotten Tomatoes score. Number 4. Oh look, it's another sequel to a live-action remake that landed behind its original on the list. It's Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. If you're wondering if any sequel to a live-action adaptation did anywhere near as well as its original, spoiler alert, the answer is no. Nevertheless, Disney didn't learn their lesson, instead making what most folks deemed an unnecessary sequel to 2014's Maleficent. While many praised the film's leading lady Angelina Jolie, the film fell flat, earning a 39% score. Number 5. 101 Dalmatians was better received than its sequel, but not by much. Many of us remember this film as a classic, but that's mostly because of Glenn Close's iconic portrayal of Cruella de Vil. The film itself landed at 41% on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 6. Do you remember the live-action Dumbo adaptation from 2019? Neither do we, which is probably because it was largely panned with a 45% score. We do have to say this live-action version of Dumbo himself is extremely cute. Yet despite the innate charm and sparkling eyes of its leading man, no, we're not talking about Danny DeVito. The film was mostly viewed as boring, dark, and gloomy. Did we mention this was Tim Burton? Hence the dark and gloomy.
Weirdos, yeah.
Number 7. From one mixed review Tim Burton project to another, here's Alice in Wonderland at 51%. Alice in Wonderland sparked mixed feelings. Some found it bland and boring, while others loved it for its bright, dynamic visuals and charming cast.
It's the wrong Alice!
Number 8. This next one stirred up quite the controversy and ended up with a 52% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's The Lion King. The folks who didn't like this one really didn't like it.
How weird is that?
And while its incredible cast and graphics made it work for many, others thought it fell flat in comparison to the beloved original. Number 9. Unlike The Lion King, which was an often shot-for-shot remake, Maleficent turned its source material on its head.
Oh dear.
Yet in flipping the story of Sleeping Beauty around and making the villain the lead, many believed Maleficent lost her edge, which earned the film a score of 54%. Number 10. The 2019 Aladdin adaptation's reviews could be summed up with meh, yet the 94% audience score proved very different from the 57% tomato meter score, showing that for some, like Aladdin himself, this predictable remake was a diamond in the rough. Number 11, also in 2019, was the Lady and the Tramp remake. Despite having overall iffy reviews, Lady and the Tramp still beat out Aladdin with 66% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It was great. That's great.
Because, come on, who wouldn't love watching those little faces? They've got the X factor. Number 12. 2 years earlier in 2017, Disney gave us Beauty, played by Emma Watson, and the Beast, played by Dan Stevens. They were joined by quite the famous cast. Luke Evans, Ewan McGregor, Emma Thompson, Audra McDonald, Ian McKellen, Josh Gad, Stanley Tucci, and Kevin Kline, among others. The cast shined in a tale as old as time. Still, much to the chagrin of Hermione fans, it's hard not to think of how many actors could have given Belle much more life with much less auto-tune when watching this movie. Nevertheless, the Beauty and the Beast lived happily ever after with their 71% score. Number 13. From a surprisingly disappointing Emma to a stellar one, actually make that 2 stellar ones, we have Emma Stone's Cruella, also featuring Emma Thompson. A Cruella de Vil origin story might have seemed like a bad idea, but with plenty of camp and fashion, it landed at 72%. Number 14. Many folks found the 2020 Mulan remake boring and felt that Mulan herself lost spark in the translation, not to mention the fact that the movie lost its beloved soundtrack. Still, amazing visuals and a unique take earned it a 72% score. Number 15. Another live-action remake earned 72%, 2018's Christopher Robin. These characters are undeniably cute, and whether you like this adaptation or not, it'll likely have more mass appeal than Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey will. Number 16. Most critics agreed that thanks to director Kenneth Branagh, Lily James, and Helena Bonham Carter, among others, 2015 Cinderella proved that sometimes simplicity is what makes a live-action remake of a classic work, earning it an 83% score. Number 17. Pete's Dragon isn't one of the most beloved Disney characters, yet its 2016 live-action remake is. Sweet and lovable, this adaptation is in second place with an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. Clearly 2016 was the year for live-action Disney remakes because... Number 18. The best Disney live-action remake? That honor goes to The Jungle Book, which earned a whopping 94% score. With the perfect mix of CGI and standout acting with great visuals and storytelling, this movie proves that all future live-action remakes should take a page from The Jungle Book's book. So, do you agree with the public? Which live-action Disney adaptation do you think is the best? Which one would you like to see them make next? Let's talk about it in the comments, and if you love animated movies and TV shows as much as we do, make sure to like and subscribe to The Things Animated for many more videos like this one.